This video is sponsored by Shoujo Sundae, the best podcast for shoujo fans. Learn more during the commercial break. Hey everyone, welcome to another Magical Girl video, and this one might be my most unique yet. I love dolls. Like, a lot. I think they are delightful, and there's a lot of artistry that's overlooked in toy design. I can only imagine how amazing it is to look at the first draft to the final product, and just to feel so proud of what you've made. Strawberry Shortcake, Barbie, Lalaloopsy, and the Disney Princess line are my childhood favorites, but I also have good memories with Bratz, Moxie Girls, Cabbage Patch Kids. That nursery is a core memory. I know a lot of people like Monster High as well, and I had a brief phase with it, but the girl that bullied me for years was super into it, so yeah, kinda ruined it for me. Anyway, there are so many wonderful doll lines of varying quality, but sometimes we don't get to see these on store shelves because they don't leave their home countries. Or if they do, they are majorly changed. Licca-chan, Japan's most popular doll, is probably one you've never had the chance to see in stores unless you grew up in or visited Japan. Licca Kayama was created by renowned shoujo artist Miyako Maki as a response to the Japanese criticism of Barbie. Debuting in 1967, she's smaller and has a cuter face compared to the more mature Barbies of the time. Her accessories are smaller too, as the Barbie dream house would be too big for the average Japanese home. There are some good videos talking about Barbie's failure in Japan, but all you need to know for this video is that Licca-chan is Japan's Barbie, and with that fame came a ton of anime. In this video, I will be talking about each in release order. Our first entry is a 2-episode OVA made in 1990, called Licca, The Mystery Tale of Mysterious Yunia. Licca-chan is an ordinary girl living with her mom, dad, and younger siblings. Licca is curious about the neighbor's unusual cat that leaves behind a bird statue for her. While practicing piano, the cat sneaks in, and the three are transported to a magical land. In Yunia, everything is very Alice in Wonderland-like. Flying fish and talking birds only scratch the surface of what's in this absurd place. Now, Licca must find her way home. She visits a lot of cool places like the Dream Factory. I love the Dream Factory, but her end goal is to meet a dragon who can send her home. However, he is scary! The reason Licca is so determined to see this dragon is because this local told her to, but she is a servant of the cat that sent Licca here in the first place because she was bothering him? Be so for real, she wasn't doing anything. Back to the dragon, he's actually just a little guy, and they all become friends. He tells Licca in order to return home in a timely manner, she must find the amaranth flower and use it to make a wish. Now the two groups are competing. Why is she so chill about this? You might not be able to go home! Obviously, Licca wins this race and gets her wish. This special is very strange, although I do like how it allows the animators and artists to be super creative. Mysterious Yunia has some beautiful moments. Agiado Studios, the company who made this OVA, would later go on to make A Sign of Affection and How Not to Summon a Demon Lord, so I'm glad they're still in business. There was a lot of talent in this project despite it being direct-to-video. Also, Licca's little sisters just know what's going on? Are they tied to the supernatural? OVA number 2 is called Licca Mysterious Magic Ring. Released the year after Yunia, it begins with Licca's piano lesson. As she finishes playing, Licca and her teacher notice the fireworks at a nearby amusement park. Although the park will be closing soon, Licca is told not to get sidetracked. She has a great performance to put on tomorrow. We wouldn't have a story if she did that, now would we? A little magic creature gives Licca a magic bracelet? The title said ring! This bracelet summons a boy named Lunar, who needs it to seal spirits of darkness, dreams, and death. Sir, you are in a Licca-chan anime. That's like having Barbie go demon hunting. Iconic, but off-brand. Instead of letting Lunar have the bracelet, she decides to go on a little adventure to the moon with a boy she's never met. Stranger danger does not exist for Licca. The two fly over town in a scene that gives me modernized Peter Pan vibes. During her flight, Licca was almost caught by the night. Very scary, but Look how cute these two are. Like the previous OVA, Mysterious Magic Ring has a lot of creative visuals as the story plays out. We get fun dream sequences with castles and blob bunnies, villains that look like Monster High rejects, and the looming threat of darkness represented by a black sludge monster. The second episode takes a surprisingly somber vibe for a while. It honestly surprised me. This special takes the conflict of Everlasting Night seriously. At the theme park, Licca is chasing this little cat scratch dude, and Lunar is having an existential crisis with a dinosaur on teacups. That's a sentence I wrote. Lunar's mom ends up stepping in, after his pet from the beginning unlocks his magical powers, and morning return. After a wonderful recital, Lunar says one last goodbye to Licca, and that's how the special ends. I definitely like this one more than the first one. The premise is super fun, and I love the dynamic between Licca and Lunar. Continuing with her yearly OVAs, Licca's next story is called Licca Sundae and is a lot more down-to-earth than the previous stories. Licca and her friend Izumi are babysitting two boys in a house I wish I could afford. It looks so cozy, I love it! Izumi brought Licca along to hopefully befriend the boys, as one of them is a little stubborn. Licca Sundae feels like a day of summer vacation. The kids are running around, baking cookies, and building a swing. Out of the three so far, this one has the least plot but the best vibes. No big threat, no urgency to return the world to normal, just a wholesome Sunday afternoon. Although I don't love that this OVA is shorter than the other two, I don't think it needed to be any longer than it is. There really wasn't enough plot to fill up a big 40, 50, 60-minute episode. It wouldn't be until 1997 that Licca would get another chance to shine in the world of animation. To make up for the short runtime of the previous special, Licca-chan gets a movie titled Licca-chan to Yamaneko Hoshi no Tabi. The movie begins with Licca and her dad going on a trip, leaving the poor mom to deal with all those kids herself. Something I wondered about Licca's family is how in the world they afford 6 kids, 7 if you count the forgotten older sister. And according to the lore, Ori is a fashion designer and Pierre is a musician. So to afford that many kids and raise them well, they have to be extremely successful. Or maybe they come from wealthy families, because there is no way that is viable in 2025. Granted, the doll line was made in the 60s, so maybe that was more affordable back then. I'm thinking too much about the financial status of dolls. What got me thinking about this fact is that the whole trip is happening because Dad needs to write a new song, and Licca gets the chance to get away too. I'm not sure how much of a vacation this is for Licca, because this man drives worse than the mom from Ponyo, which leaves them in the summer heat with a torn up car. Great start to the trip. Licca's annoyance with the current situation prompts Dad to tell her about the Hoshi village, a place where you can meet the stars. We're definitely going to have some fun visuals later. I just know it. After almost hitting a cat, the two make it to their destination. As Licca goes to explore, she runs into more cats. Well, kids in cat masks. And like Licca-chan always does, she makes a new friend. While the grown-ups are getting drunk, Licca and Yuki talk about the upcoming Festival of Stars. I love their friendship already. The next day, as Licca is getting used to country life, she stumbles upon a boy. And then a truck comes out of nowhere, and the boy is gone? Are we having a kitchen princess moment? Because I don't think my heart can take that again. Licca tells Yuki about the boy and she laughs, but agrees to investigate the scene. They find a hidden path leading to water the boy must have been gathering earlier. The movie continues to embrace the cozy Japanese countryside vibes, with picnics and festival preparations, but things take a more magical turn around the 30-minute mark. The kids are looking for Sa-chan, the littlest one that was wearing a mask earlier in the film. And when Licca chases her, she is attacked by some sort of mystical being. The priest's son thinks she's crazy, but then the same attack happens to him. That night she has a very trippy dream, with her attending a school with cats and the teachers getting mad that she won't eat raw fish. Girl, how are you gonna live in Japan and not like fish? We transition to a rainy day, and the lynx just straight up knocks on the door. The same creature that tormented Licca is now invited for afternoon tea. Okay, Licca has officially been invited to meet the stars, so she goes to tell the angry boy about it. He doesn't believe her until one appears in his room. From here, the movie gets so bonkers that I honestly stopped caring. There's a talking sphere, a dragon, a space war? You could call it a Star War? And a little bit of what-if romance between Kaoru and Licca. But they do not have an ounce of chemistry. Lunar is still the best boy for Licca. Hoshi no Tabi was originally supposed to have a theatrical release, but didn't due to production delays. And yeah, with the pacing I see it. This has the same vibes as some of the Precure movies or the Jewel Pet movie, where the plot is there, but you're mainly here to enjoy seeing your television faves on the big screen, and unfortunately it requires a story that should have been 30 or 40 minutes to be fluffed up with material that probably needed to be cut. I like the setup, I like the small town setting, but Hoshi no Tabi is a movie that really should have been a lot shorter. It might be my least favorite so far, which is a shame, because it's the last to keep Licca's style up to this point, and her voice actress Mika Kanai, who has done a lot of voiceover work, from various Pokemon to Kira Precure. How could they replace her? She's an icon! This feels like the end of an era for Licca, and that makes me sad because I feel like it should have ended on a better note. I really loved the feeling of these first few entries. There's something very nostalgic about them, especially Licca Sundae. I loved Licca Sundae. I really loved the art style of these, the soft colors, and Licca as a main character. I think she's really sweet. Before we continue with the rest of Licca's stories, let's take a commercial break. Hey there, anime lovers! Are you craving some sweet and nostalgic conversations about your favorite shoujo series? Then look no further than Shoujo Sundae. This podcast is your ultimate Sunday of all things shoujo, where each episode is packed with layers of heartfelt discussions, deep dives into classic and modern shoujo anime and manga, and a sprinkle of humor to top it all off. Every other Sunday, Gianna and Chika break down beloved series like A Sign of Affection, Fruits Basket, My Happy Marriage, and Ouran High School Host Club, sharing personal insights, fan theories, and behind-the-scenes trivia that you won't want to miss. Whether you're a seasoned shoujo enthusiast, or just dipping your spoon into the demographic, Shoujo Sundae is the perfect companion for your anime journey. So grab your headphones and a bowl of your favorite ice cream, and join them for a treat that's both sweet and satisfying. Shoujo Sundae is wrapping up their coverage of Fruits Basket, and I have enjoyed every episode. They're also celebrating their 100th episode, which is a huge milestone. Tune into Shoujo Sundae on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. Trust me, you won't want to miss a single scoop. Now let's get back to the video. The following year in 1998, Licca-chan got a huge revamp. Gone were the days of early 90s Studio Asiato coziness, and enter late 90s boldness by the same studio that brought us Trigun, Perfect Blue, and later Hunter x Hunter. I'm honestly surprised it took 31 years for Licca to get an actual TV show, and the direction the team behind Super Doll Licca went with is not what I would have guessed. Licca, unknowingly, is the princess of the doll kingdom, and must be protected by 3 doll knights summoned by her grandma. I beg your finest pardon. Grandma summoned the bootleg Magic Knight Rayearth team to protect her granddaughter. This is a fashion doll! This is the entry that allows me to call this a magical girl video because it follows the formula to a T. Fights, transformation items, catchphrases, multiple love interests, and one you pray stays one-sided. A magical kingdom, you get the point. In the first episode, Licca is going on a field trip, and her grandmother gives her the magic bracelet for protection. She rushes to school, and a boy her age seems to be worried about her late arrival, but won't admit it to Licca's face. Also, this is like the 3rd Magical Girl series I've seen where the school is a Catholic school. I was raised Methodist. Is that why I didn't get to be a magical girl? Are only Catholics allowed to be magical girls? The class is going to the Fantasy Kingdom Museum, but this trip is actually a trap that Licca and Dai coincidentally avoid by skipping the museum tour. While most of the kids are put to sleep or trapped in a maze, Licca and Dai are being educated about the Doll Kingdom by a college student who was somehow able to sneak in undetected. Licca is immediately smitten.
That's... 素敵。え？誰が？素敵。どこが？
Bro is not having that. So apparently these people running the museum are searching for the lost princess because otherwise the Doll Kingdom will freeze. Licca and Rai are eventually caught and have to go with their respective groups. Licca has been discovered as the princess and is confronted by a spider. Ew! Grandma can sense her granddaughter's troubling situation and awakens one of the dolls to save her from that nasty spider. This is doll Licca, and she looks like the 90s radical version of what doll designers thought kids wanted at the time. She's camp. I love her. In the following episodes, new characters and dynamics are shown that will be staples of the series. Dai has a crush on Licca. Licca has a crush on Rui, who is living with her family while studying the Doll Kingdom. And Licca's best friend, Sumire, has a crush on Dai. Well, it's almost a love square. Rui living at Licca's house is a conflict beyond her crush because he's at risk of finding out the family secret, one that Licca herself doesn't even know yet. There are also villains that chase Licca every episode. The three main ones for the first half of the series are the henchmen Misty and Puru, as well as the big bad leader Scarecrow. Two other dolls are introduced as well, those being Izumi and Isamu. There's a lot going on here, and we only learn a little bit at a time. The show has amazing pacing. You slowly get invested in the world and the characters to the point that by the end, when things are really starting to happen, you truly care. Also, their little smart friend is just left out. Poor little guy. So the reason the villains want to bring Licca to the Doll Kingdom is because her rightful position as princess will make it to where the Doll Kingdom won't freeze. Makes about as much sense as you think it does. The reason her family even left in the first place is because Licca's mom fell in love with a human, which isn't allowed. So Ori gave up her life in the Doll Kingdom, and her mother, Licca's grandmother, followed. I will go ahead and say I think this show is worth watching if you like similar anime like 90s Sailor Moon, Cardcaptor Sakura, or Akazukin Cha-Cha. The show feels like a mix of various shows I already like, but with an original enough story to keep me invested. Now I'm going to dive into the big spoilers that you don't get within the first handful of episodes. Spoilers in 3, 2, 1. The departure of the rightful family left Grandma's evil twin in charge. She's actually the first to get another doll by stealing the bracelet once given to Rui's grandpa. Did Grandma have a forbidden romance too? Or was it the twin now possessed by darkness? What is so good about human men? Things get crazy about halfway through the show. Scarecrow is locked away after messing up one too many times. The two henchmen regret their actions and become allies of Licca. New villains step in to aid Duval's mission. He's the big bad controlling Grandma's twin. And after episodes of attacks and growing close to this lovable cast of characters, the show goes insane. There's a huge battle to take back the Doll Kingdom. We've got dungeons, tentacle monsters. It's a grand old time. Of course, Licca and friends get their happy ending, and the show concludes with Licca taking her rightful kingdom once she reaches adulthood. I thoroughly enjoyed this show, but it feels like such a departure from what Licca is. I think of politeness and softness when I think of Licca, not Magic Knight, Ray Earth Guardians, and supervillains. This is alternate universe Licca, and I love her because I love magical girls. But if you don't, or you're not a fan of those tropes, you're probably not gonna like the show. Luckily, I love it, so it's not a problem for me! However, we're not done with this version of Licca yet, because during the time the show aired, our girlie got another movie. This one is about the group going to an amusement park, but being rudely interrupted by the soul-sucking Donna and the usual baddies. I want to say that I do love the visuals for this film. It's like a slightly better version of the show. I also love the theme park setting. That gives way to some very creative visuals, but the movie, which isn't movie length at all, is fine if you like the show. It's a fun little watch for fans of the series, and that's all it needed to be. As fun as Superdoll was, I am glad to be done with it. Repetitive shows can be fun in small doses, but when you're trying to binge for a video, not fun. Enjoy this show at a normal pace, please. It took a decade for Licca to come back to animation, and from this point on, it's only very short content. Licca-chan to Maho no Kuni is a series of 6-minute shorts distributed on Licca's website. Needless to say, a Japan-exclusive web series from 2009 is a pain to search for. There are definitely physical releases of the first episode, as it was distributed in some magazines, but unfortunately I don't have access to these. According to an article I found, the series is about the typical dreams of a young girl, such as using magic or becoming a princess. I would have absolutely vibed with this, and I'm so mad I can't find it. If I do, I will leave a pinned comment. Now we have what I like to call the Fairy Tale 4, featuring Licca as Cinderella, Snow White, Thumbelina, and the Little Mermaid. I think Licca was trying to dip her plastic shoes into Barbie's cinematic territory, but was too afraid to commit, so she made them like 6 minutes. Starting with Cinderella, the short opens with a live-action segment before diving into the animated story. Licca and her dog transport to a castle and using her magic wand, becomes a princess. Her transformation is absolutely precious. However, we only get the dance part of the Cinderella story. No wicked stepmother, no stepsisters, no fairy godmother. I mean, she loses her shoe, but that's only a small part of Cinderella's story. How is this Cinderella? If anything, Licca is the fairy godmother. Also, this girl cannot sing. The other 3 have very similar formats, taking bits of the original story and assuming you know the rest. Y'all know I love princess stories, and these were just little extras packed with the dolls. But I really wish there was more to these. They feel so rushed, but the style is lovely. Licca's very last animated appearance as of 2025 is a music video titled Niji Kyun Curl Licca-chan that of course goes with a matching doll. It honestly reminds me of the Precure dance tutorials. Very cute. Although this is the last animated entry for Licca, I would like to acknowledge some of her media outside of animation. Superdoll Licca has a 12-chapter manga that ran alongside the show, and the art was done by Mia Ikumi of Tokyo Mew Mew fame. I wish I could add this to my collection. Licca has also had a lot of video games and game cameos throughout the years. She's a playable character in both Dream Mix TV World Fighters and Battle Arena Nito Shinden, which is already super cool. But she has her own solo games on the Sega Pico, Game Boy Color, Game Boy Advance, Nintendo Wii, DS, 3DS, and maybe more I can't find. The DS games did end up getting released outside of Japan, and while they keep the original Licca branding, they call her Lisa. Lovely Lisa. The game I have is from 2007, and you can talk to Lisa, which means she says 1 or 2 phrases every hour, or you can go to the main map and play mini-games. There's a career center, fashion boutique, charm school, performance arena, and Lisa's house. The theming is all girly, cutesy princess etiquette, and I actually learned a few things. I had no idea about some of the table rules. The mini-games are either quick-time events or quizzes, and there's really nothing here that pro gamers are going to love, and even the girlies will get bored after 30 minutes. That being said, I kind of love this game. I know child me would have been obsessed. I wish I could have gone to a charm school to learn how to be a lady. I wanted princess training so bad growing up. There is a sequel to the game featuring her friends that looks adorable, but I do not have it. Licca's games in general are just not easy to find. There are probably more games I've missed that I might look for if I ever have the time. I think I can officially say that I am a fan of Licca. I love dolls, and I'm so happy that I have one Licca of my own. She's dressed as Phantomy Heart, and I think she is precious. It's hard to rank everything in this video because of how vastly different most entries are, but I think I had the most fun with Superdoll Licca, the babysitting special, and the fairy tale shorts. The sun'll come out tomorrow, la 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 la. Maybe my video will bring some more love to Licca outside of Japan, but if not, I hope this was at least a fun watch. Maybe you learned something. Thank you to Cinnabon Autumn for being Safi's friend on Patreon. That's the tier where you get a shout out. And thank you to Shoujo Sundae for sponsoring this video. Make sure to follow me on Instagram as well for cutesy content. And lastly, troop on Hopelets, stay adorkable!